welcome to Strictly Business, sponsored by the Bellingham Business Association. The BBA is a nonprofit organization that supports local businesses and gives back to the community. My name is Pam Johnson, and I'm your host for today. I publish the Bellingham Bulletin, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with. Bellingham's hometown newspaper. We're coming up on 20 years in business now, and you know, going great guns. The only newspaper mailed into every home and business in town. Today, I am going to be hosting, normally one of my guests here, Marjorie Turner, is the host, but we're trading places today, and she's my guest along with Sharon Washburn of Oh-Yumm Bakery. Last month's BBA dinner meeting was held at Lowell's Restaurant on the Mendon-Bellingham line, and we heard from presentations from 3 area nonprofit groups. We got an update from the Franklin-Bellingham Rail Trail Committee about progress on the Southern New England Trunk Line Trail, or SNET, that runs through Bellingham. Then Suzanne Beatty introduced members of the Bellingham Women of Today, introduced members of the BBA to the Bellingham Women of Today, and all of the wonderful things they do here in town, including the Santa's Elves Drive that they do every Christmas, that they hold right here at the Cable 8 studio. And then lastly, we heard about a number of programs at the Hockomock area YMCA in Franklin that are offered free to the community. So, as I said, my guests today are Sharon Washburn of Oh-Yumm Bakery in Bellingham Center and Marjorie Turner-Hollman, a personal historian and freelance writer. So I want to thank you both for appearing on this segment of Strictly Business.
Thank you.
And why don't we start with you telling our audience something about your background, how you got into your business, what you love about it. You can decide who goes first.
All right. Well, I've gotten into my business out of, it became a hobby, and which just grew and grew and became more profitable. So decided to make that jump and become a business. I've always loved cooking. That's where my love is, but baking was just the next step. So I started doing this with my son and my husband. My son has a culinary background, and it was a great opportunity to spend extra time together. So that's where that comes from. Now, what I love about it, well, I love that I'm doing my own thing. What I hate about it is that I'm doing my own thing. You know, there's a lot of responsibility, and there's a lot of work, and a lot of hats to put on, and it's a lot to juggle. And you never know what you're missing until you've missed it, and you know, so you know, there's a lot going on right now.
It's a double-edged sword there,
yes, of course. Yes.
I don't know how many times I've missed things because I'm always a month ahead trying to put together the next Bellingham Bulletin, and I'm missing what's going on right here in this month because I'm always a month ahead. Marjorie, how about you?
Remind me what the question was.
Okay, it's you're going to tell the audience something about your background,
okay.
How you get into your business, and
sure.
what you love about it.
My background is in the past I was a professional storyteller, and that's part of something I still use was my storytelling and presenting skills, because I worked in front of large groups of kids, and now I do writing workshops, and I'm going to be working with kids at the library this month, doing a program teaching them how to interview. I actually started writing with you. You're the very first person.
That's why I was laughing.
I know, you're the very first person that offered me a chance to write in the Bellingham Bulletin. I was home and wasn't able to work, but I could work from home, and had my email, and I said, how about if I wrote at home and I could send you some articles? And you gave me a chance to do that, and that was, I think it was 1997.
Oh my God.
I know. So this many years later, I still write for the Bellingham Bulletin, but you gave me more and more chances to write profiles for people that I really loved doing those stories. I didn't mind doing the school stories and the ice cream socials, but I didn't mind taking pictures, but I knew that I really did well with doing personal profiles, and I kept trying to figure out how do I do that more. And so I finally came across this field of personal historians, and I found out that I could help people write their whole family story and not just get one little bit of story, but a whole life story. And I started by doing my dad's story and got that done before he died, which was really, really wonderful, and published it as a book, and have gone on from there and have learned all sorts of skills. We can talk about that later, but that's how I got started doing it, was
well, that actually kind of leads right into the next question anyway, as far as you've kind of explained a little bit about the services you provide. What sort of education or training is required to do your job? How do you help your clients / customers? So do you want to pick it up from there, and then we'll go to Sharon?
A lot of the training that I've received is through two professional organizations. One's called the Association of Personal Historians, and that's www.personalhistorians.org. Huge amount of resources. I learn every day through the listserv of people all over the world who are doing the same sorts of things that I do, but they may be videographers, they may be audio, they may be writing books, they may do editing. I learned so much through that.
But you don't do genealogy research, do you?
I do not, but there are people who do, and I could find them for you.
If somebody's having trouble with their life story, you can point them to
oh,
get
absolutely.
some backup
This is where that's where all the resources are, is with all of my colleagues. So I've gotten a lot of training with them. There's conferences. I also got a lot of training over the years through the storytelling organization, and that's www.lanes.org. I've learned a tremendous amount about what makes good story, and how do you make a beginning, middle, and end that people want to stay and listen to. And I mean, that has been years and years of workshops and conferences that I've gone to. So that's a lot of that's what I've been getting information from. Okay.
And Sharon, you said you started out kind of as a hobby, and your son has a culinary background?
Yes.
So between the two of you, you're putting together a great bakery,
and that gives you your baking skills, or your ability to know what tastes good together. Along with that is business management, time management, money management, sales, marketing, promotion, and it just goes on. So they say along the journey you become part of all the experiences that you have, and I think that. In my background, I have a financial background, I have a sales background, lots of customer service, and I just try to take parts of all of that and incorporate that. I can bake, but can I have the relationships with my customers? And that, I think, where Bellingham is such a small, tight community, that's very important.
Yes.
To be able to have the relationships with them, and be able to have the conversations with them.
I would think you'd have to develop those relationships, because there are other very competitive places, so you want people to come back for you and what the service and products that you provide. And it's
probably my favorite part of the business.
Is the return business?
Is the relationships that the people I've met. I have some people that come in every day, and I don't know them except for them coming into the bakery, and I miss them when they don't come. I start to worry. Was everything all right? Did anything happen? Or you come to expect that routine.
Sure.
But that's what I think I enjoy the most, is those relationships.
So you have relationships with a lot of the people in town and driving through. What about businesses? Do you provide services to businesses, or?
We just started working on that, reaching out to some of the businesses, maybe provide some of the pizza places their sub rolls, or dinner rolls for another restaurant. Maybe offer desserts for another restaurant. So we've reached out to a couple of places, and we're trying to put some figures together to see if it's cost effective for both of us to do something like that, which would be nice. It's very important to keep the business here in the community, because business that happens in the community stays in the community, and it just makes the community stronger.
And benefits the community
Right.
a great deal, yes. Marjorie, what about you? What kind of people would come to you, and is there anything you would do for a business, or is it strictly individual?
Sure, no, it's really quite varied. You know, what I do is I take those stories that you sit around the table, kitchen table, sharing those family stories, and I transform them into written form in book, with a book as a final product. So you know, whether it's your family stories, there's also companies have histories, and companies they may want a whole a brochure for an anniversary or something that they want to
so it'd
commemorate.
be like a company profile.
Absolutely, it's a company profile. What makes your company special? What makes your company succeed that other companies don't? What makes it so that people come to you, not someplace else? What's that extra indefinable thing that makes your whole organization special? There's also just community histories. Right now, there's a group at the Bellingham Senior Center that I started in this summer, writing personal histories, and they've continued without me, but they're collecting personal stories, and I hope that eventually we'll be able to make it into a book that I will help them with to make it like a community history. Here are the stories of a community. So the you know, the options are as wide as your imagination. But that's part of what makes it so exciting and fun.
Yeah, and I imagine, I mean, it's always, as far as from a historical standpoint, it's always, I think, more enjoyable to read someone's story than to just read historical facts and figures. You know,
I'm
it just brings it alive.
I'm terrible with facts, and I'm horrible with dates, and I majored in history in college.
Oh, did you?
But I love the stories.
Yeah.
Well, it paints a picture for you.
Exactly. That's how I can remember things, is by story, not by dates and wars and events and centuries. And I'm really very poor at that, but I love the stories. And so, you know, I do public speaking, I do workshops, I do all sorts of things that can work with an incredible number of groups. But what I really love is to take those oral stories and synthesize them into written form. It's like a puzzle piece of how do you take all those stories and make them fit into coherent beginning, middle, and end that your reader wants to stay with, even if they're not just your mother.
Right.
You know, somebody beside, that it's compelling and it's interesting while being the truth, but it's an art to make it the story that people want to stay with and not just look at the pictures.
All right. Well, I mean, everybody knows that, you know, we've had a down economy for a while. It's turning around. Things are, you know, picking up. The unemployment rate is down. All the economic factors are showing that things are going up. What kind of opportunities do you see in this improving financial landscape? I know you're exploring doing more with businesses. Do you have any other things that you're focusing on or investigating?
Well, I think now where money has been so tight for so many people that they're spending it wisely. You know, instead of maybe going and getting the treat, a frozen treat from, you know, maybe a chain store, that maybe you know, we'll take that extra step and we'll go to the bakery, and they know they're going to get a good quality homemade treat. So I think they're spending their money more wisely, and so I think if the economy is going to turn around and it's getting better, then I think that just opens the door for more things like this. I think in any economy, people are going to spend money on their kids and on their pets. So, you know, the kids' treats, the birthday cakes, you always have a birthday cake. Kids will always have birthdays.
Absolutely.
So, you know, to make it affordable, to present the value, you know, I'll just continue to do so. So that way when they come in, and they might pay a little bit more, but they know they're going to get the quality that they're looking for. And just keep that consistent.
So you must be gearing up for Thanksgiving, I would imagine.
Oh, I'm so excited for Thanksgiving. I was like, lots of pies, and we'll be doing cookie platters and dessert platters and different breads and rolls and things like that. So we're ready to go.
Don't you do gluten-free?
We do. We do offer. We have a line of gluten-free products, cupcakes, pies, brownies, goodies.
I have to ask you, how do you make a pie without flour?
It's it's very difficult, but we're able to use different kinds of flour. Now,
like coconut flour? Is that one
there's
of them,
rice flour is very popular.
Yeah.
Now we're not able to make the gluten-free right on site, but I have partnered with R&S Bakery, and they have a dedicated site that they cook all their gluten-free products on.
Oh, okay.
So all of our gluten-free products,
Right.
yes, they come in and they're packaged up, so there's no worries of cross-contamination. Yep. So they're able to buy the products and not have to worry about them. And she does a great job. She has her own recipes that she works with. And so she's been working on her pies, and she does birthday cakes as well, and where she doesn't have a storefront, everything's available right there at Oh-Yumm.
What about sugar-free? Do you do sugar-free?
You know, we've just started playing around with that. I have gotten a handful of requests for it. So
many diabetics now.
Yes, sugar-free is very important. I've provided some low sugar options. I have a no sugar added pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving. But it's hard working in the bakery, you know, with so many sweet options to come up with a sugar-free, you know, because of course it can't be with frosting. So, but you know, we try to do, you know, especially special orders, we can fulfill those, not a problem. But yeah, now and then we'll put a few things out there and see how
they
goes.
see how they fly. And people pick them up. People buy them.
Yeah.
Yep. That's interesting, because now there's so many different choices too in sweeteners.
Yes.
Stevia and
Truvia.
And I saw another one recently made from some kind of berry. I can't remember the name of it now, but there's like so many different choices now for sugar-free. No, that's that would be like a substitute for honey.
Okay.
Agave nectar, but I can't remember the name of it now. But the next best thing, you know. So in the financial landscape, you know, just as you were saying, when things are tight, the luxuries go out the window, and now things are starting to loosen up, and people are starting to, you know, spend money a little more. Would you? Obviously, you don't consider a personal history a luxury.
I've heard a colleague describe it as, if you can only afford to remodel your kitchen, go remodel your kitchen. But if you can afford to remodel your kitchen and do a really nice personal history, good. But don't be saying, I got this book instead of my crappy kitchen. So, you know, there are trade-offs, yes, but there are also many ways that you can do, like this group that's working at the senior center, they're writing it themselves. And, you know, it isn't that you have to pay someone, but it sometimes helps to work with somebody. And, you know, there's options from very, very simple, low cost, or whether it's I can arrange things with just to record your stories and not turn them into a fancy schmancy book. But there are also very many affordable ways to make them into publications, or just a manuscript if you just want something. But for me, the goal is that you have something that you can be proud to share with your family and friends, and that you can pass on to your children or your customers. And that's the goal, is to have something that you can hand people and say, here's my story. When you have time, you're allowed, you can enjoy it. I know you're not going to sit there and read it in front of me, but take it home and enjoy it. And people do. And
so you have like an a la carte kind
I
of a
try
thing.
very hard, and it's basically listen to what people have, find out what their budget is, and go from there, because it isn't that it's not accessible to everyone. It's If you want a hardbound, acid-free paper with books that's going to go on the New York Times bestseller list, maybe that's not what I'm working with.
Sure.
That's not what I'm really interested in. I'd rather hear more stories.
But I have seen a book that you produced, and the quality is excellent.
And that's
it's
what
soft cover,
that's
but
what
the
I
quality
forgot
is
to bring
excellent.
today.
A sample
was
of
some
it.
of my samples of my books. But yes, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
Nice book.
Yeah.
So
It doesn't have to be terribly expensive. The biggest expense really is my time.
yeah.
The self-publishing has completely changed the landscape.
I know, I was
of
shocked when you
publishing.
told me the cost.
It's really, per book, does not have to be terribly expensive at all. It's more the process of getting it into camera-ready copy for the print-on-demand publishing. That's the time-consuming part. But if you just want a manuscript that you just want to have so that your children will get to have it, that doesn't even go into the publishing part of it. So there's many different variations. I love to see a book finished.
Sure.
That's
sure.
wonderful. And to have a party and celebrate and say, hooray, this project is done and I can share this with you is really a wonderful gift. And people are excited, and they don't really realize all those stories. And a lot of times people share stories that they haven't even shared with other people in their family.
So another family member might not have even heard or known about some of the
And just because you
stories.
hear a story doesn't mean you're going to remember it and be able to pass it on when that parent is gone.
Right.
If you haven't written it down,
I'm
it's
sitting
gonna
here
be
wishing I had written down some more things than what I have.
I know. It's gone. Any of us that have parents that are older, those stories are going to be gone before long, and you think you're going to you'll remember it, but we don't.
Especially all the details.
It's the details. It's the things they choose to tell us.
Well,
yeah.
Sharon, why don't you tell us something about your business that our viewers might not be aware of?
Oh, let's see. We are only 6 months old, so a lot of new stuff. We just started doing soups. So during the week, you have the opportunity to taste homemade soup. We do a gluten-free soup on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And they can purchase soup by itself, or we could do a soup combo, which is soup with a cookie and bread.
I was just thinking soup and a cupcake. Oh, yeah. But either way.
Yeah, so we have, so that's pretty new. And we're kicking around the ideas that after the first of the year, maybe doing some sandwiches, like roasting the turkey ourselves, and we have already the homemade bread.
Do you have the ovens right there?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we can go ahead and maybe add some sandwiches. So we're still kicking that around to see if that might be a way to go. But we decided we'll just take this in a direction that our customers want.
Sure. See what works and go with it. You've pretty much explained. I think everybody's aware. Is there anything that people might not be aware of?
When I was thinking about that question, because I knew it was going to come up, what I thought of was that people might be surprised to realize that when it comes to writing in general, or writing an article or a personal history, that it's actually more important to be a listener than the writing. That listening is it's actually more important, because if you don't listen carefully and you end up writing something that doesn't reflect accurately the person you're writing about, the event you're writing about, the history that you're trying to capture, you're not going to stay in business.
Marjorie, can you let our viewers know the best way to contact you if they have more questions?
Absolutely. I have a website. It's www.marjorieturner.com. And they can go to my website. All of my contact information is right there. And I would be delighted to hear from people.
All right. And Sharon, what about you?
They can reach me. I'm always at the store.
Stop in. Yeah.
Yes, always at the store.
Tell us where the store is.
It's on 1 Mechanic Street, so it's right in the Corey Plaza, right tucked in on the side, so I overlook the Common and Rockland Trust. So I'm there every day. And if you're not able to come down, then you can give me a call at 508-647-0049. and or you can, I do a lot of postings on Facebook. So you can look me up under Oh-Yumm, and I always take pictures of like the newest thing that we have going on, or you know, something to get you down there.
Are you, what, I don't know what hours you're open.
We're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Then we're open Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sunday, 8 a.m. till 1 p.m.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, I'd like to let our viewers know about the upcoming Bellingham Business Association meeting, which will be held at 6 p.m. on Wednesday, November 14th at the Bellingham Public Library. This month's meeting is called A Taste of Bellingham, and a number of local restaurants will have items from their menus and sometimes some special surprises for attendees to sample. All Bellingham businesses and representatives from Bellingham nonprofit groups are invited to attend. The cost is $10 per person, and for more information about the meeting or the BBA in general, I encourage you to visit bellinghambusinessassociation.org. And that concludes our show for today. My name is Pam Johnson. For more information about the Bellingham Bulletin, you can visit our website, which is bellinghambulletin.com, or you can give us a call at 508-883-3252. Everybody have a great day.